Okay, where are we? Where are we? Good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning. Yesterday, first batch, today, second batch. Shuffle my paper here, pick up exactly where we left off yesterday. Okay, to the blue, to the blue, to the blue. Good morning, good morning. Share printing, finally, you missed yesterday. Yes, yes, yes. Dry brush. Should we open windows? What's it like? Have I been able to get away from the bench? Yes, I haven't been here, of course. Yesterday was a funny day. It was a weekend here, but because the last two weekends have been long weekends here in Asakusa, this one's a bit of a quiet weekend. There weren't too many people around. Lots of tourists as usual, but not too many other people. So the place was quite quiet yesterday. We too, the shop was quite quiet. I ended up liking the larger brush on the blue. Really? I don't remember. Really? It's too big for this one, sure. Is that really what I used yesterday? Other way around the show. I started with the large one and went to the small one. I think I started with a large one and went to this one. I started with a small one. Are you sure? What do I know about it? Okay. In general, as a general principle, we want larger brushes. They hold more pigment. It gives you a bigger reservoir, so less changes by one to the, from one print to the next print. The problem here is that I don't have much room. This is carved really quite narrowly. We usually carve away much farther. So I'm going to be careful. I have to wipe a lot. If we're going to use a larger brush, it'll mean a lot of wiping. It's all on camera, yeah. All on camera, my life. All right, what do I need here? A bit scrambled again this morning. So paper seems okay. Nice and soft. A bit too wet maybe, but printable. Before I forget to mention, those of you who have seen our Facebook page yesterday, I made an announcement. We had a couple of visitors yesterday in the shop. I didn't recognize them at first, although perhaps I should have actually, because I've been following their work. I should have recognized them, a young French couple. And I asked them back. They couldn't come today. I asked them back. And they're coming tomorrow. I'm not quite sure exactly what time. They weren't quite sure if they're going to be able to be here at 8 o'clock. So what I'll do is tomorrow's stream will be downstairs at the carving bench. And I'll prepare a couple of stools and a bit of a different camera setup. And we'll have a couple of guests. And chat about their work a little bit. And try and figure out some way to make some slides so we can show what they're doing. Really, really, really interesting work. Well, that should have gone on the tile. I think that's what I did yesterday. It's the people from the Atelier Sento, they call themselves. And they're coming tomorrow. They're here in Tokyo for a few days before going up to Niigata. They're going to be in Niigata for a couple of months, 3 months, I think they said. There's some kind of exhibition of their work going on up there. Let me just test the registration here just a second. It was a bit funky yesterday. Not quite sure about the registration. Anyway, we'll start with the blue. We'll call the blue the key block for this one. Okay, let's roll. Let's roll. Actually, I'm going to ask them about that tomorrow. What's the point of the name? And I think actually it's something related to that. Murals in bathhouses. The point being they would like to be the kind of people who make paintings and pictures and images that are sort of just part of daily life, you know. It's a little bit like the thought that we have downstairs. On the wall in the shop, we have the thing that says living with woodblock prints. The point being it's not some special art that is rarefied. It's something that's just part of your daily life, like those bath murals are. So I'm thinking that's probably what they'll tell me. I'm going to ask them tomorrow about that. So what does their name mean? Why did they choose that? And I guess that's the kind of answer I'm going to get, I think. That's the kind of position they would like to have in society. But we'll see. I can't prejudge. Let's see what they say. It's pretty windy, you know, I can't do this. There's too much wind coming through. I don't mind the window open, but not when there's a strong wind blowing right across the bench. It's impossible. So. Yes, of course there's a mural on the wall. The one here in the bath that I go to, Jakkotsuyu, it's a little bit disappointing. What they've done, and this is economics at work here, they used to have it painted. Once a year, it would be repainted. And instead of doing that now, they've switched to a system where they had it done once in ceramic tile. The guy painted a whole series of like 10,000 tiles. They had them fired and put on the wall, so it doesn't change now. So it's just a series of tiles that shows the picture of Mount Fuji with a bit of bizarre spring greenery at one side and autumn greenery, autumn red at the other side. And it's obviously, you know, it must have cost them a bunch of money to paint it each year. So they spent more money one year and got a permanent, quote unquote, tile job. So it can't be helped. I understand the economics, you know. It probably costs $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 each year to get it done. And they're struggling a bit, the bathhouses, because it's one strange situation. Their entrance fees are set by City Hall. It's really strange. Japan has some funny anti-business things, you know. Anyway, the entrance fees are set by City Hall, but their energy costs just fluctuate. So they have to pay more for gas, have to pay more for whatever's going on, but they're not allowed to charge more for entry. Because this is one of those preserve the culture businesses. They probably get a bit of kickback or something. I don't know how it works. But anyway, they're in a bit of a pinch. They're squeezed. That's why many, many, many bathhouses have closed down. One reason. Another reason, of course, is that nearly everybody has a bath at home these days, of course. So it's a strange business. And I can't complain of the fact that they've got a tile mural instead of a hand-painted mural. Sailor Moon, it's not going to happen, guys, for a few reasons. I know it's not just my personal like or dislike of games or anime or whatever. I know there's three big reasons. One is the design as Jet has given it to us doesn't work at the scale of woodblock print that we can afford to make it. If the woodblock print was Oban size, the big, full, old-fashioned size, it might work because the faces are carvable and you can get expression. But at the size that we are being forced to make these things, for economic reasons, you know, the paper size of the Ukiyo Heroes prints, the way he's designed it with huge amounts of open space and very, very small faces doesn't work. I can't do that. I've got a microscope to carve, but it still doesn't help us. We'd lose the expression in all the faces, lips, eyes, everything. It doesn't work at the scale. And the second is the copyright reasons. He's playing in a country where fair use allows that stuff. I don't have fair use here in Japan. The parody and license and whatever is a much more delicate question here in Japan than it is where Jet is. He's got stuff in his catalog that he sells that I can't do here in Japan, period. both of those. It's the Sailor Moon and the Godzilla. We have copyright issues that he can ignore, but I can't ignore. Are any of the Ukiyo-e Heroes prints not available in your shop? All the ones we've made as wood-bought prints are in the shop, everything, all of them. Of course they are. I mean, I buy them from Jed. We put them in the shop. We get them from Jed. I think Jed's super busy right now. He's at New York, of course. There's the, what is it, giant New York, what's it called, New York Comic Con? 4 days or something. Tough, hard work for him, you know. I think he's got 2 crews running. He's got himself, and I believe he's got an assistant working there. They've got 2 booths, I think, at the show this year. This is a real big deal for him. It'll be a huge amount of his income for the year, I think, from that one show. So he's busy. Whenever these shows are on, I never hear from him on Skype because he's busy by really exhausting work too, I can tell you, running one of those booths for a day and then 4 days in a row. It's really exhausting. New member here, Volts Golf. I thought I heard that name. Thank you for the comments. Nice. Inspiration. I don't know. Just trying to hold it together these days. It's funny how these things go around, you know. The couple I'm talking about who's going to be visiting here tomorrow, the Atelier Senso. It's Cecile and I forget the young man's name. I'm sorry, I don't remember both their names. But after they were here yesterday, I went back to their websites again. I looked around, and my God, there's some work there that looks just so fantastic, you know. I don't have any idea if they're interested in it or not, but the idea of turning some of their designs into woodblock prints would be pretty cool. That's not really the point of asking them tomorrow. And we really don't have production time to spare and stuff. But some of their stuff would really look nice as prints, of course, you know. I don't know, I shouldn't even think about it because we're just so tight. I saw their lino prints. They're a little bit, well, they're very rough. I mean, they're not trained as printmakers, obviously, so it's okay. So, but one or two of the lino prints that they have on there, it shows real interesting that they have got some knowledge of color breakdowns and how the colors should layer on top of each other. And that means there's a real head start. If we did talk about making woodblock prints, there's a real head start there. They understand how transparent colors layer on top of each other. There's one of their YouTube videos that shows they're painting some kind of backdrop for some anime thing or a game. And it's an upstairs room that's really dark with a staircase going down and stuff like that. And watching the video they've got, it shows bass tones going on and then other tones going on top over it. And it would just work so well as woodblock prints. They've really, their way of building up the images would just work perfectly as woodblock prints. So, different conversations going on here. The Batman's not going to become a woodblock print. No, I'm sorry. As I said, I can't do that. I cannot do that here. So it's nothing to do really with my own personal choices and preference, although that's part of it. But I can't muck with some of the copyrights here. We've talked about this many, many times. There's no fair use here in Japan. Zero. You're licensed or you're a pirate. One or the other. That TV show that was here last month, they showed the 1 hour program 2 weeks ago. They didn't mention the heroes. They didn't show them. They were too afraid of it. secret sauce. Just a minute. Tabasco. Smoother. What's going on? Hang on a second. When we mix the pigments, it's powder pigment mixed with water. The raw pigment, the pigment in the bowl, is really, really quite deep. Look at that, deep blue. You can't even see, it looks like black. And if that was thickly run on the block, then it would look in the print like this. In Kyoto, they would mix white with this to make a lighter blue. Dark blue mixed with white makes lighter blue. We don't do that here because it turns it into an opaque product. We don't want the opacity, but we want it lighter. So the way to make it lighter is that we thin it down. We thin it down with water. I've got water here, pigment and paste. We thin it with water until the pigment is lighter and the white of the paper shows through and gives us a paler tint. That's the way we do all of our printing, everything. What you're seeing here is the paper color plus the pigment color mixed together. And by keeping the pigment fairly thin, the paper color shows through and we get a lighter blue. If we want it really quite light, we get a problem in it. By adding too much water, the pigment becomes watery. It doesn't have enough body, it doesn't have enough smoothness. That's sort of what the paste is for, to give it some body on the block. But the paste too is made with water. If we make it too thick, it clogs in the lines. If this is too watery and the pigment's too watery, we get a blurred speckledy effect on the block. Usually we can balance it okay, but sometimes it gets too watery. So what I want the pigment to be a bit thicker, but not, I want it to be diluted, but not watery diluted. So what we've got is this stuff. Gum Arabic Medium. I think a number of the companies sell it in different names. Winsor & Newton sells it, they call it Transparent Medium. And this is the raw stuff itself. It's gum Arabic. It's some kind of rosin that comes from trees. I think it's somewhere in Africa, I don't know. And when we buy it in the shop, it's a chunky, it's just like chunks of rosin, and it's really difficult to work with. You got a double boiler, you got to melt it, you got to mix it with water, blah, 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 back and forth, back and forth. It's really, really difficult to work with. But nowadays, these companies, the Winsor & Newtons, and this is a Holbein, they've done that stuff for us. They've boiled it and done it and boiled it and done it and whatever. This medium can be mixed with dry pigments to make your own watercolors. I guess that's the idea, people who want to make their own watercolors. So for me now, what it's done is, it was getting too dark, it was getting too deep. I wanted to lighten it up, but without adding water. Anyway, now I've talked too much and the block is dried and I've screwed it up again anyway, so whatever. Does it have a tendency to make the plinths look slightly darker? I don't know, because we don't use it as a medium. No, we're not making our own watercolor pigments. I'm just using it to help get this thing diluted. I needed something to dilute it with that wasn't water. This is thick enough and juicy enough that it gives me the dilution effect, but doesn't give me the watery effect. I guess that's what I was trying to get at. it's quieted down out there. This was Sunday morning, and the local community association was doing a street cleaning. And it's been one, I think, did we miss 2 Sundays because of weather related? It was just too rainy or something last Sunday, and maybe 2 weeks in a row. So they had a big cleanup this morning out there. We still have a typhoon out there? I thought it had passed the other day. Is it still there? Looking good. Typhoon risk. Hang on, let me check my weather report page. Where are we? Where are we? Weather typhoon warning page. Here we go. Weather typhoon 情報. Typhoon は発生していません. No typhoons at all on the weather map. So I don't know, John, I think you've got a out-of-date weather map there yesterday or something. There's no storm out there right now. Now the block's dried. Honestly, you just break for 30 seconds and it makes a real difference, you know. Real printers, not like me fooling around here. Real printers, just you can't bother them. Just keep out of the way. It's got to be like a machine. The timing is so important. 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds. Whatever it is, it's got to be stable and consistent if you want prints to look all the same. Looking good, looking good. I think there's about 3 or 4 left for this color, then we'll move on to the next color. I think it's 24 sheets in this batch, I'm not quite sure. 2 sheets left for the blue, and then we'll switch to the next color. You guys are taking care of the conversation, are you? Answering the questions, thank you. Mushroom? I'm thinking it looks like a chocolate cookie to me. Today's stream brought to you by okay, this is the last blue one. Then we'll change the blocks. Okay, here we go. Long-time viewers have seen this many times before. Here's a stack. We started at the bottom of the stack, number 1. We've worked our way up, 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 up. We now flip the stack over so that number 1 is going to be number 1 on the next block also. We always keep the stack in exactly the same order. We never flip it, change it, mix it, do anything with it. It stays in exactly the same orientation and order, and ideally the same moisture. Now it's actually a tiny bit drier right now than it was when I started. I've put moisture in only in the area where the pigment touched. The rest of it's actually dried out a tiny bit. If that was a major factor, if it was drying out a lot, then we'd have to fix it, put more moisture on the paper. But I've only got a 3-color print here. It'll be finished before the paper dries out too much. Okay, let's get going. Next color, black. So we got to clean up a bit here. First, moisten the wood while we're getting the rest of it ready. Moisten the brush. Moisten the wooden brush so they can get ready while we clean up, get the blue stuff out of here. And I've lost my black. I see Kawaii-san stole it last night. I see. I'm going to steal it back. And this is straight calligraphy ink. There's no special formulation, just straight black calligraphy ink. And we need a lighter baron. This baron is quite strong to do that last the body color. This is just a single line, so we need a lighter baron. Looks pretty much the same from the outside, but inside the coil is a dense, tight coil with strong bumps and a coil with very small bumps. John, don't make trouble any more than that. No, nothing on the wood. The wood is bare cherry wood, bare wood. Steeling, I said steeling, I know there's a mix of stuff in here, you know, everything's mine, but when Kawai-san has his pigments set aside, he's been making a bunch of prints. Here's Kawai-san's stock. He's got a bunch of pigments already mixed and prepared, and I shouldn't fool with it because he's in the middle of making an edition of prints. He's got a blue in there, for example, and if I stole it and put something else in and mixed it and put it back, he's going to be screwed. He's got an edition of prints he's making. It's the old Hasui blocks that were found in North America a while back. So you don't muck with somebody else's stuff while they're doing a job, obviously. But I've stolen his black because it's just calligraphy ink. When it's gone, you pour some more in. So there's no mixing or anything necessary. So I can steal that with no problem. But I wouldn't touch any of the printers here. I wouldn't touch the stuff that they have mixed, of course. That's just, you never do that. Question, what's this? When you were showing the little prints the other day, yeah, I don't have it here to touch, it's downstairs. There was a cloud of smoke coming up from the fire, right? It was black and gray and it had swirly stuff in it. It's Barensuji. Let me find a link here. Oh, thanks Google. What you don't know about barons is everything. Here we go, here's a link. No, it's not a link, okay. Hang on a sec. The point being, it's a gray. Here we are. Copy image address. Here we are. Whatever, here's an image address from somewhere on the net. And it's showing, it's a print, part of a print that's made with texture. The point being, when we're rubbing with this thing, it's got the bumps on the bottom. And normally we rub so much and so many and so much that all the bumps together combine to make a smooth smooth surface. If you just rubbed it, for example, a little bit, you're going to see those swirl marks from these bumps. It's only when we rub so much that all the swirl marks combine give a smooth surface. So that textured background means somebody just is given up too soon. If you get what I'm getting at. It's difficult to do. It's difficult to do to get them consistent. Now, what do I need here? I need a brush, it's ready. I need pigment, it's ready. I need paste, I need water. I'm not sure if I need a thinner. Let's get going. I always assumed that was deliberate. in the case of the Firewatch print, it was deliberate. If I left scratch marks in the print I'm making now, it's a mistake. It's an effect that you can make, which is when you want it, it's an effect. When you don't want it, it's a mistake. I'm not sure what else I can say. It's difficult to do that, to get them consistent. You rub too much, you've lost it. You rub not enough, and it's too weak. Let's test this here a little bit. I'm not sure about the registration mark. We may have to move it here because the blue block there, I replaced the registration marks this morning before starting because they had been a bit funky yesterday. So we may be working on a new registration here, so I'll have to test this first. Well, I think it looks all right. Let's see, let's try. A bit more. Looking good. Okay, small adjustments here. We'll move these a bit. What can I use? Do I have a ruler? I do. So just give me a minute. This is delicate work. I got to get this moved. We've got to move it back like a fraction of a millimeter, just a fraction of a millimeter. Okay, I think we're okay. Still a bump in here. Sorry for the mess up here. Still difficult getting this corner exactly right. There's a bit of tape in there that gets in the way. Sorry. I need my scope, but that's down on the first floor. Okay, I think we're okay. Good, sorry about that. Delicate. You know, we're working to really refine tolerances here. What have I missed? I did with the bearing coil still. Okay, yeah. Tokyo and Google Street View. Are there planning restrictions? I know zoning here in Japan is funny. I know zoning doesn't work here the same way as it does in most other places, you know. There's no major, this is zone commercial, this is zone retail, you know, that and that. It's a real mishmash. In some ways, it's like one of those older European cities that's just grown up over a couple of millennia. There's buildings that are in the wrong place for contemporary usage, you know. What we've got here, it's a little bit like the old shop district. There's shops and people living upstairs. On this block, about half the buildings, maybe, I'm guessing, half the buildings are shops where there's business downstairs and people living upstairs. It's not always the shop owner living downstairs. There can be people living upstairs who are just renting an apartment and someone downstairs who's renting the shop. And in a few of the cases, it's the same thing. It's the shop owner who lives upstairs, but that's not quite so common. But for the most part in Tokyo, no. On any given block, there can be people living, there can be people working. You know, you go down to the Ginza, the big department stores, Mitsukoshi department store and Matsuya and stuff like that. It looks like a Ginza, big district. If you go one street back from the front, you'll find people living, and there's a school, there's an elementary school, bang, down there in the middle of the Ginza district. Just here where I am, there's an elementary school just around the corner, just across the street here, about 3 blocks away. There's a daycare center just down the street from where I am, a kindergarten. I hear footsteps, 907. It's Audrey-san, Soka. I remembered, I took your paper out. I did a good job. I wasn't sure if you were coming till noon or something, so I didn't know what to do. But
I sent you an email before leaving.
I didn't see it. I haven't seen my mail since this morning. So. This is Audrey-san. I can't turn this. You're going to come say hello, whatever you see here.
Good morning.
This is Audrey, one of our shop staff, really, shop and print party staff. She's not a printer here with us. She's here to do one of her own projects this morning. What's the best way to describe this? You're in Japan. One of the reasons you're in Japan is to learn how to do traditional carving.
One of them, yes.
So she's working with my friend Asuka-san, Asuka Sensei, for a couple of years now. How long have you been there?
1 year and a half.
1 year and a half. And the classes over there at his workshop, they have an exhibition once a year. And that exhibition is like tomorrow or something?
In 2 weeks.
2 weeks, whatever.
2 weeks,
Tomorrow.
Yeah. Tomorrow.
And all the students, of course, have to put work in the exhibition. So, do you have is your print online somewhere? Do you have an Insta or something or whatever?
I have an Instagram, and the process has been online on Instagram.
So what's the Instagram handle?
Let me double check because...
Double check. You know your own Instagram handle?
I want to double check. I do know, but just in case. Let's see.
And the print you're making now is on there, is it?
The print, yeah, all the steps are on there. It is...
I says here, I think it's to Audrey's accent sounds like she's from New Jersey.
Exactly.
Yeah,
How did you know?
It's almost about as far away as you can get, but whatever.
It's Enlil. E-N.
Spell it. This is her Instagram name. E-N.
E-N-L-Y-I-L.
What does that mean? L-Y from Lyon, where you come from?
No.
L-Y-I-L.
No, it's just the name. L-Y.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
her
that's-
Instagram
yeah,
handle.
that's
Put it together with the URL, whichever way it
There's
works.
just,
So,
like, videos of the process, how I don't know, how I print them.
oh, Audrey, you're from where? Lyon? I forget. Something begins
Not
with
far
now.
from Lyon. Yeah, not far from Lyon. Yeah. In the southeast of France.
In case you didn't figure it out, Audrey
Next
is
to New
French.
Jersey.
Okay, so. Next to New Jersey, yeah, right. So you want this bench? Well, I'm here for another 15 minutes, and then I'm out of the way.
No
So
problem,
if you
because
can.
I'm gonna prepare my blocks
Yeah,
and everything,
okay.
so I'll let you focus.
This bench is the overflow bench. Ishikawa-san has her own bench. Sugi-san has her own bench. Dei-chan has her own bench. And this is the overflow bench.
Okay.
I'm using it today. Kawai-san used it last night. Audrey-san's going to use it today.
Great.
Someone's talking about cat photos. Is it cat photos?
There
I
might be a
have just posted a link about cat photos
There
on the
might
internet.
be a couple of cats.
I've broken one of my cardinal
I'm
rules
sorry.
of life. I'm sorry.
Sorry, there might be. There might be one or two.
She's led me into sin.
But they're cute, so that's okay.
It's cute, so that's why I don't want to do it.
But one is a grandma, you know, you have to give her a chance.
The registration on these blocks is, I've been fighting it, and it's just a piece of tape, and I made a sort of conceptual mistake. I thought these certificates would just be printed once and then it wouldn't need the blocks anymore, but so many people have joined the Patreon campaign that we keep printing these again and again and again, but the registration marks are just a stupid piece of tape.
Oh
And,
no, why?
well, 'cause whatever, long story, it's a long story.
Sorry.
We had no choice. Somebody, I'll leave his name undone. Somebody, when he put the wood inside, got it wrong, and it means that's where the
Oh, I've
registration
never
mark
seen
ended
it.
up. So,
Oh no, that's a pain.
it's all my own fault. Careless mistake a year ago. So.
They cannot be redone? No.
Well, there's not enough wood, so it means gluing an extra piece of wood on
I
this
see,
side. You know,
I see.
actually, it's not my mistake. It came from Epson. We cut registration marks first, thinking we'd be able to move. You know, what we're doing is we print woodblock first, then the inkjet part. So I cut the registration marks where I thought the woodblock should go sensibly, and then tried to get Epson to move its settings, move it down 2 millimeters, move it down up 3 millimeters, and it wouldn't allow us to do that. Because you're not allowed to go within 5 millimeters of the top of the paper or whatever rule that stupid driver has. So we had to move our registration marks back 5 millimeters, which means what I had thought was the safe distance for the registration mark. The registration mark was way up here. We had to move it back 5 millimeters, and it's hanging right on the edge of the wood. So I can blame it on Epson. Anyway, looking good. We had figured out at last, I think. So before we run too close to the end stream, I should chat about tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a strange mixed day, if all goes according to plan. There will be 2 guests. I'll be downstairs at my carving bench, but we're probably not going to get much carving done. Because I've asked 2 guests to come, the 2 young French people. Ah, so you don't know about that?
Isn't it tomorrow?
It's tomorrow. So. Do you saw their message, Andy?
saw the message.
So
It looks really beautiful.
their work is so much fun. You know, they are so skilled. I'm so envious. You know, my God, they sit down with a piece of paper and just draw these fabulous things, and with such taste. You know, I'm so green with envy. Anyway, they're here tomorrow, and they'll be downstairs. And I'm not quite sure what to do. I'm going to get a couple more stools, and instead of putting the camera focusing on my carving bench, I'll set it up like a sort of interview corner. And then before they get here, I'm going to prepare a bunch of images inside the computer here so that we can show slides of some of the things. So, more French. What's going on? I can't tell you. There's just been French all over the place. It's bizarre to show.
Not even Wednesday.
Part of it is the movie. Currently in Air France, in the airplane, our movie has been playing in that plane for a couple of months now. And it has brought a ton of people from Europe over here, specifically from France. But why they all ended up on Wednesday, I can't tell you. I actually started the other day. We've had so many French parties recently that I've been picking up a bit. You know, whatever.
You must have.
Remember, it's in there somewhere because I was a Canadian. You know, I mean, 6 years of school without listening to the French teacher, Le Plume de ma tante, and actually not listening to it. It was all pencils. We didn't actually speak anything. It was all writing and scribbling. You know? But it's a bunch of it's in there.
It's not far.
So the other day there's a print party going on, and again you weren't here. It was Friday or something, where the guy's rubbing two, and I'm thinking, what do I say? Doucement. And he looks at me like that. So I've got these stumbling words one at a time. But then of course he turns around and says,
From now on, I'm only speaking French to you.
No, thank you.
No?
Trouble like that I don't need. Smartass remarks are coming. Air France can't afford decent movies, so all they get is ours. I tell you, that documentary has brought so many people in this door, you know. I complained about it when we did it because the guy was such an awful person. I complained about it later because it wasn't getting distributed. I complained about it later because he was asking us to pay him to hire theaters to try and get it distributed in America. You know, he was just totally out of it. But at the end of the day, this thing really, really has helped us tremendously. And then somewhere down the line, after it's finished in the airplanes and after he's failed to sell it everywhere, then it's going to get dumped on Netflix, like for a penny a play or something. And oh my God, then we're going to go to town. All of our fans will be able to see it. But for the last couple of years, it's just been the gift that hasn't stopped giving. It's fantastic, you know. The stream has switched to French, Audrey Sam. It's over to you here. So.
Should I? Oh man, I'm sorry about the cat pictures. I'll have a special Instagram with just kids.
I've got about 10 sheets left. I'll finish off this black and then it's over to you. So. Just do it this way. Whoops, there we go, look at this. Interesting example of good concentration there. Sorry, just a minute, I'm missing conversation here.
Difficult to print out.
Yeah, I know it is. I was just there. I lost my concentration. Printer went upside down. They're just telling jokes. It's okay. It's fine. I can ignore it for a minute. They're telling jokes about Cat 5 internet cable. It's not like these are important prints or anything, you know, just some share certificates. Just blow these out any old way, who cares? I'm not going to sell these. This is about the most important prints we'll make this year. These are actually one of the few limited edition prints that we make, eh? We don't make prints with numbers, but these are all actually going to get numbers, of course. Hold up one of your next prints so we can see the black line. You mean what I'm printing? Okay, hang on. Every time somebody asks me a question, I destroy a print. There we go. We have a mountain and a line. Very, very simple work to show. Next comes the gray, the brownish base of the mountain. You see the finished one. There's a finished one from the previous batch. This is how they will appear at the end of the day when it's done. Okay, what do we got? Half a dozen or so sheets left here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sheets left for this morning's work. What do you think, Audrey? Should I just leave the camera on here, all facing you while you do your work? Yeah, right.
I think it's gonna be not very good for my concentration.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's difficult to print out top or do anything else.
Yeah, it is. It's fractions of a millimeter, you know, absolutely fractions of a millimeter. Is the documentary worth seeing? Still £10. That's too much, I think. God. I don't think I'd buy it either, you know. They're asking about the documentary. Somebody's
Yes, yes.
asking, you know. It's £10.
What do you mean? It's not free on Netflix?
No, it's here on Netflix in Japan, but not overseas.
Abroad, it's not free?
No.
No.
It's case by case. What I've heard, if you're in America, maybe Canada too, it's on Amazon Prime. If you're an Amazon Prime member, it's free in the US. Here it's on Amazon Prime in Japan, but you got to pay for it.
It's a bit confusing.
It's all country by country different. They've got licensed rights. They're all different for each country. And anyway, whatever, next year it's going to go on Netflix, I suppose. I don't know that, but I suppose it's going to go on Netflix wide. I don't know. Or someone will torrent it or something. I don't know. None of it's to do with me. I don't get any revenue from this at all. It's you know, we are not the filmmakers. It's not my film. It's about me, but it's nothing to do with me as far as, you know, the business end of it goes. So if you're thinking, you know, buy it and help Dave out, nothing to do with me at all. Absolutely nothing to do with me. And what did I do? That was the first half, then I did this one. That was must have been next. This goes here like this. Yes, okay. Okay, that's the printing for this morning. This stuff now goes in the pack. I don't know when I'll next get to it. Tonight, possibly. Tomorrow, no, because tomorrow's stream will be downstairs from the carving bench with our guests. So I don't know when we'll be picking up this job. The day after tomorrow is Tuesday, when this work might be getting done off camera. I don't know. We'll see. That's it. I'm done. I'm down in the shop today. It's Sunday. We got a bunch of print parties, and again, we're short-staffed, so I've got to get down there to help with that work. Sorry, but it's been confusing this morning. I spent a lot of time fooling around. Dave, have you decided to recreate the little badges you got from the carving bench guy, like the volcano set? News is coming on that. Nothing I can talk about right now. The next video will be David's Choice Volume 7, and it's going to be talking about the little prints. It's not talking about Harada-san the carver. There's two videos coming up. One is David's Choice video, which will be about little prints. One is a story about Harada-san, the work, the bench, the blocks, the old tools and stuff that we got from him. That'll be separate down the road later on. But in the first video, thanks John, in the first video coming up, talking about the small prints, we will show my collection, then we will use as an example, here are some blocks, how these prints were made. The one from Harada-san. Do you want to see me print them? And then we will print them. And then we're going to give him the Ray-chan to print them and put them in the shop. So the different things are going to come together at different times. Anyways, short answer, yes, we are going to use some of Harada-san's blocks to do a couple of them and put them in the shop. And it's going to be part of the next video, David's Choice number 7, but I don't know when that's going to happen. I'm out of here. See you tomorrow downstairs. Special guest stream with the people from Atelier Bento. Oh my God, they're going to shoot me. Atelier Sento.
Atelier
Sento. See you tomorrow, guys. Special stream. Bye-bye. My head is just upside down today, you know.
Yeah? It's the heat is like it's really hot again.
Out there, is it? I don't know. Just.
But after the typhoon, I think it's like gonna be 30 degrees or something.
Oh God, another one.
Yeah.
So, anyway, Atelier Bento. Oh my God, another meme. Here we go. Okay, bye-bye, guys.